Welcome back. So in this video we'll do something a bit different. Okay, rather than looking at a past paper, we'll actually look at one of the questions from the textbook. And the requirement is, well, basically to make, noughts and crosses, or well, some people say tic-tac-toe. So let's just try and look then at what we want to make. So we're going to enter the number of players, and I've actually extended this, so rather than just having a simple, two-player 3x3 board, we can also have more players. So let's just say in this case, well, we'll just go 3. Yeah, I don't want it to take too long. Right, they can also enter the board size. So again, rather than 3x3, well, let's go, 5x5. Right, let's say enter the number of consecutive cells to win. So again, rather than just having to enter 3 cells to win, or 3 consecutive cells to win, all right, I mean, let's go quick. So we'll just have 2, right, just so we can quickly see. Right, and so name of player 1, let's go A. Right, player 2 can be B, and then player 3 can be C. Right, so let's say here they can just place a piece at maybe 2-2. Right, and then okay, so here we're then going to see this output. Right, then B, I don't know, maybe they can go like 4-1. Right, then C, I don't know, they can go, let's say 4-2. Now, right, let's say, okay, so let's try and place a piece in the same position. So if we go 2-2 again, well, here it's going to say, right, move unavailable cell already contains, and then the green, I guess the green piece. So let's try again, and I guess here what we can go, kind of row 2, column 3, all right, and then they should win. So yeah, if we say 2 and then column 3, it says, well, would you like to play again? And if we look here, right, it says, yeah, well, congratulations, player A, right, you won. Then of course, well, in this case, well, let's go no, right, and then then of course it's just going to quit. Right, so that's going to be what we want to try and make. And I mean, this is actually, well, I mean, this is quite complex. Like, definitely, it's more difficult than what they would ask in the exam. However, it's, well, I guess it's good to practice things that are more difficult, because well, if you practice, tasks that are more difficult, then hopefully in comparison that will make the exam seem easier. And a lot of this, well, again, of course, it's going to cover the same stuff, right? It's going to cover loops, it's going to cover if statements. We can also adapt it, so rather than saying enter the row and column, right, they can enter the position, for let's say, position 4. Now, if we're using a 3x3, well, right, position 4 is going to be, that's going to be row 2, column 1. So yeah, that's similar to the theatre bookings question, right, if people are familiar with that. The kind of IG, right, the IG 15 marker, right, theatre bookings. Alright, so what we want to do then, well, we want to allow the user to choose the number of players, the board size, and the consecutive cells to win, and let's just zoom in. Right, well, also they can of course enter their names, right, it's going to allow, it's going to be an option to allow the players to play again. Right, and this time we actually want to use functions and procedures. So rather than just having a massive block of code, let's try and actually break our code down right into functions and procedures. Since sometimes they have asked that in the 15 markers, right? Particularly, I think it was the banking question, where they wanted like a withdrawal procedure, deposit procedure, maybe check balance procedure. Right, and then we're always going to initialize cells, right, just to this kind of black square. And then we can actually use this, right, so if we have up to 8 players, well, let's just use, right, these characters, or these kind of icons, right, these emojis. Right, so I think, well, first then, I mean, let's just try and ask for user input, and we probably want to declare some of these variables. So let's go, maybe, I don't know, like non-players. Right, of course, well, this can be an integer. Right, I guess we also want the board size as well, because again, we're going to ask the user to input this. And let's also say, maybe like, I don't know, consec cells, or consec cells to win, right, the consecutive cells to win. Right, and then, well, let's validate this. So the number of players, what should be great, I guess, well, let's say sort of, 2, right, probably 2 to 8, because I think playing with just one player, right, doesn't really make sense. So for this, I'm actually just going to have a repeat. I mean, of course, well, you could use a while loop if you wanted, but I think repeat until is easier in some ways. And then here, well, what we want to do, we want to repeat until the number of players is greater than or equal to 2, right, and number of players is less than or equal to 8. Alright, then inside here, well, of course, we can just output. So let's say, enter number of players. Enter number of players, and let's just tell them, right, 2 to 8. And let's go input, and we're going to input into the number of players. Now, of course, I mean, you could have an if statement here, just checking, well, if the number of players is kind of not in this range, well, then just, give them a warning message. But I think this one should work. Now, if we want to do the next one, so, I mean, I'll demonstrate how we can do it with a while loop instead. So, let's say here, and we just want to get the, let's go board size. and we can say maybe the board size can be from 3 to 10. Yeah, although I mean really, of course, we could go bigger than 10 if we wanted as well. But all right, let's go, yeah, enter board size. Yeah, and right, let's tell them, all right, let's go 3 to 10. And the reason I don't say 2 is because, well, if you actually think of 2, right, whoever goes first is always going to win. Because, well, let's just draw this here. Right, is this the pen? Okay, so, right, okay, yeah, let's say we have, what, a 2 by 2 board. In fact, hang on. Yeah, I can't even draw a 2 by 2 board. So, okay, let's say the first person goes here at X, right? Then let's say the next person goes here. Well, of course, right now X can either go here, right, or they can go here. So, yeah, 2 by 2, the first person is always going to win. Right, so, yeah, let's just go back to this then. And of course, we'll make that 3 to 10. Right, then we can just go input. And, right, we're going to input this into the board size, and then we can just have a while loop. So, right, let's say while the board size is, well, I guess, well, yeah, okay, let's go less than 3. Right, and then this will be OR, and we go what board size is greater than 10. Right, let's go end while, and then, yeah, to be honest, I'm just going to copy this. And, right, let's change this. Maybe let's say, right, invalid board size. Yeah, I know, let's say, yeah, try again. Yeah, I know, should be, right, 3 to 10 or something like that. I mean, that, yeah, it's probably not the best error message, but, yeah, I think it doesn't really matter that much. Right, and then also the consecutive cells to win, so I'm actually just going to copy this, right, just keep it simple, use the repeat until loop. And yeah, let's move this down as well. Right, so here, I guess, well, let's say, right, yeah, enter, right, consecutive cells to win. Right, and then here, so yeah, let's just do this, and then, right, let's think about the range check we want to do. I mean, I suppose 1 is actually got to be, what, less than or equal to the board size, because we couldn't have it where, you know, they need four consecutive cells to win, but, you know, the board size is only 3. So I think, I mean, yeah, let's say greater than or equal to 2, that should be fine. Right, and let's also go the consecutive cells to win, what should be less than or equal to. And yeah, let's go what less than or equal to the board size. And yeah, let's just move that across there. Okay, so I think, yeah, they should all be working. Now, what we then want to do then is, well, we then want to create a grid of this size, right? Okay, yeah, of this kind of board size. So let's go declare, and yeah, I guess, well, let's call it grid, or yeah, game grid. Right, well, this is going to be a 2D array, okay? Well, yeah, of course, you know, rows and columns. So we're going to go 1, of course, this is the starting index, and then what the row is going to go up to the board size. Because let's say, what if the board size is 3? Well, then of course, you know, we want, what, 3 rows, 3 columns. So yeah, let's go what there's going to be, yeah, oh, I guess, yeah, board size rows, then also, well, 1 to board size columns. And then I think here, I'm just going to go char. Right, because what we're going to use, well, we're going to use, yeah, these kind of shapes, or, well, yeah, these squares, you know, just to represent, right, which player. Yeah, I think that should be fine, and then, like, okay, so, right, I guess we also want to ask the players to enter their names. So we're then going to need, what, an array of player names. And then if we think, well, this is going to be, what, from 1 until the number of players. So, yeah, let's go array, right, 1, right, 2, right, non-players, and of course, well, since these are names, right, it's going to be of type string. Right, okay, then is there anything else? I mean, I guess we're going to want, for example, current position, or yeah, like the current player. So yeah, let's say current player, and well, that can be an index, right, as in, yeah, player 1, player 2, player 3. Yeah, I mean, I think for the moment that's fine, and I mean, well, yeah, I think, okay, I think we're definitely going to okay, we're going to need to add more variables at some point. But for the moment, right, let's start with these. And probably we can just ask them for their player names. So here, since we know how many players there are, because of course, well, we've got that in our non-players variable. Right, then of course we can just loop up until this non-players. And what I might do is, well, let's actually just create an index. Yeah, so right, we'll just go what index. This will be 1, and then we'll just go what 2. Right, to the non-players. Let's just say output. And I suppose we could also validate this, right? So make sure they don't enter an empty input. And again, well, let's just go repeat until then. What we want to do, let's say output, and let's say kind of maybe something like enter name for player 1, or enter name for player 2. So yeah, enter name for, and then this is going to be what the index. And in fact, hang on, let's go player. Yeah, so for example, like player 1, and let's also just have the colon like that. Right, now if we then go input, and we're going to input this into what the player names at index, well yeah, at this index, and then I guess, well, we're just going to do that until, until, well yeah, this player names are at this index, right, until this is not equal to an empty string. Yeah, that should be fine. Right, then if we just go next index. Now I think for me, well, I'm just going to test this, right, see if this is working. Right, enter number of players. Well, let's try something invalid. Right, we'll try 1. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's try 9. Right, yeah, that's fine. Let's try, for example, 4. Okay, so this seems to work. Let's say board size, right, 2. All right, no. Let's try 11. All right, no. Let's try, yeah, 4. Okay, right, then consecutive cells to win. So if the board size is 1, all right, then 5 is going to be invalid because, well, of course, right, that's bigger than the board size. Let's also try 1, all right, invalid. And yeah, let's try 2, for example. Right, then enter the name for player 1, right, A, right, let's say B. Right, let's leave this one empty. So yeah, okay, empty, right, it's going to ask us again. Let's try C, and then let's try D. Yeah, okay, so I think that's fine. And I suppose, I mean, if you wanted, you could add kind of like a warning message, yeah, like player name empty, try again or something. But I think this is okay. Right, so probably then what we want to do, well, we're going to want a sort of start game, or yeah, kind of reset game, start game. And well, that, I mean, one thing that's going to do is going to initialize the cells to 0. It's also going to set the current player to be 1. So yeah, I mean, let's probably make this a procedure, and I think we can just call it, yeah, maybe start game or like reset game. Or in fact, what I might do is, okay, I'm going to have one called start game, and let's have another procedure, right? Let's call that reset game. Right, and then, well, let's think what we want to do. So one thing is what we want to initialize all of these cells to this character. So I'm just going to copy this. And then, well, to loop through the cells, I mean, maybe we should just declare, right, row and columns. Right, they're both going to be integers. And then to loop through a 2D array, well, I mean, first we're just going to loop through the rows. So that's going to be 1. And then, well, think here, right, we're going to the board size. Right, then we're just going to loop through the columns. Right, so column, assign that 1. Again, let's go to the board size. Right, and then here, well, to access this, I think we called it grid. Yeah, and then, so here, right, the index is going to be, well, row, and then, of course, column. And then, well, let's just assign this, right, this, yeah, black square. Right, then, of course, well, we just go next column. Right, then we go next row. I think that's fine. And then, well, let's think here, we can go current player and just assign this 1. Yeah, that should be okay. Right, I mean, is there anything else we need to do when we reset the game? Yeah, I think, like, for the moment, that's probably okay. Maybe later we'll need to add more to this, right? But I think, yeah, for the moment, it should be fine. Right, I think what I'm probably going to do, let's create a procedure just to output the board. So, to be honest, right, what I might do, like, I'm actually just going to copy this because it's going to be mostly the same. Right, of course, well, we're just going to be looping through rows and columns. So let's just copy this, and, yeah, we'll just call it output board, or maybe, yeah, display board. Right, so here then we're also going to need a variable, and well, there's going to be a string, and let's call it the line, or yeah, this is like the current row basically. So what we want to do, well, we want to initialize line to be an empty string inside here. And then what we're going to do, well, we're going to concatenate the current cell, or yeah, the current icon, right, to this line variable. And when I say concatenate, well, that just means kind of joining it to the line variable. So to concatenate, well, we're actually going to use this ampersand. Now, technically, they actually don't have this ampersand right in the IG syllabus. That's why, of course, right, they would, well, yeah, okay, they would never actually ask you to do this for IG. But again, maybe it's good to watch, right, just to actually learn. And yeah, of course, a lot of the other stuff, right, like loops, if statements, validation, yeah, div, mod, right, of course, right, that's also relevant. Yeah, user input. Right, and I think, well, this current player we can also delete. And then what we want to do, so, well, here then, once we've actually got the I guess, yeah, once we've got the cell for each column, well, then we just want to output the line. Okay, so yeah, output line like this. Because if we think about this, well, let's say, for example, yeah, cell, 1, 1, so it is in like row 1, column 1. Well, let's imagine that's this one. So what we're going to do is, well, we think, right, this thing here is going to be what, this black square. Right, then, of course, we're going to, well, join it with this, right, or concatenate with this line. Of course, well, currently, yeah, the line is empty. So, well, I guess, right, at this point then, the line is going to be, what, just the, yeah, just this black square. Right, well, of course, right, then when we loop the next time, well, let's say the next time, I don't know, maybe like player 1 has gone in this position. So of course, right there, then we get this one here, right, in sort of position 2. Because what we're saying is we're saying, well, the current line variable, right, and then of course, well, join it. Join it with what, let's say row 1, and then what this would be column 2, right, on the second iteration. Then of course what we'd get, row 1, column 3, right, etc. And that should just output this. So, right, let's actually test this in the start game. And what we want to do, well, first we want to call reset game, just to reset the board. Right, then let's just call output board. And I guess we'll also need to call start game here as well. Alright, so hopefully, and okay, right, I mean, like, maybe I'm just gonna, maybe I'm just gonna sort of, kind of comment out some of that, because otherwise it's going to be annoying, right, having to type this in all the time. Right, okay, so enter number of players, well, let's say 2, right, board size can be 3, consecutive cells to win, right, let's say 3. And then, so here, right, okay, we get this, which is fine. Alright, and then what we can do, so I guess now then we just want to ask them, what cell do they want to, place their position in. So I think what I might do is let's create another procedure, call it next move. I think that's fine. And well, let's say this next move, right, since it's a procedure, probably this one we can just ask the user for their input. And then maybe we can have let's say we can have a function that will check if there's been a winner. Right, so what I'm going to think then is, well, of course, I mean, well, okay, like, we could do it, so hang on. If I show you this one. So here I do it where, okay, we say, well, enter row, okay, then we ask them to enter column. Now, to be honest, this is actually kind of the easy way of doing it. And really, this is actually the better way of doing it in many ways, because if you have like a 7x7 grid, like if someone says, well, I want to place the thing in, cell 32, well, like, I mean, what is cell 32? Like, what row is that? What column is that, right? It's difficult for humans to understand. But I'm going to do it using the div mod method, right, just because they've done that before for one of the other questions, well, in particular, right, the theatre bookings question. So what we're going to have, well, let's just do sort of 2x2. Now, of course, this is going to be cell 1, right, cell 2, right, obviously 4, 5, 6, and right, 7, 8, 9. So basically what we want to convert is, well, if they say, I don't know, let's say, cell 5, well, cell 5 is then going to be converted right into row 2, column 2. And the way we can do that is actually using div and mod. Now, let's just actually, maybe I'm going to change the pen color just so we can kind of differentiate. Right, okay, let's just think if we do a simple mod. So, and of course, well, we're going to mod it by the number of columns, right? That's going to be how we can detect, right, kind of what row it's in, right, what column it's in. So, of course, here, the number of columns, or the board size in this case is, 3. So, let's think, if we do 1 mod 3, well, 1 mod 3 is going to be 1. Okay, so this works in terms of, like, getting the correct column. Right, then if we do, 2 mod 3, right, that's going to be 2. But the problem we get here is, if we do 3 mod 3, right, this is going to be 0. So this is actually incorrect now for the column. So what we can actually do, we can have a formula where, I guess, let's call it C. So we take the column, right, and, okay, so hang on, right, let's think if we just plus 1 to this. Because if we plus 1 to this, it kind of almost works. So for example, like, okay, so what if we do, 3 plus 1, right, that's going to be 4. So it's kind of going to go to this next one. And I guess likewise, what if we do 2 plus 1, right, that's going to be, of course, right, that's going to be 3, right, it's kind of going to go to this one. So I think we can have a formula like this where if we go, C minus 1, right, then we're going to mod. So I guess if we're doing IG, then, right, mod is actually a function, right, if you're doing A level, it's going to be an operator. Right, so I think we want to do this, and then minus the number of columns, right, then I think if we go plus 1 like this, so let's just try this out. So here then, right, we're looking at 1, so we go, 1 minus 1, well, that's 0, right, 0 mod 3, well, that's just 0, right, then if we go plus 1, okay, right, so here, this is going to be 1, right, that's correct. Then, let's try this one, so we do, so here, right, okay, we do 2 minus 1 is 1, right, 1 mod the column is going to be, 1 mod 3 is going to be 1, right, but then, with this plus 1, all right, this becomes 2, so that's fine. Right, and then, so this is the one we want to check. So here then, right, well, 3 minus 1, right, that's going to be 2. Right, 2 mod 3, right, that's going to be 2. And then, yeah, the plus 1 here. Alright, so like now, in this case, this is going to become 3. And then, like, I mean, if you just want to check the next one, so, well, 4 mod 1, right, that's going to be, right, yeah, 4 minus 1 is going to be 3. Right, 3 mod 3 is going to be, well, 0. And then, of course, well, 0 plus 1 is going to be 1. So in this case, it's saying, well, right, cell 4 is in column 1. So that's fine. And then actually we can just do the same, but for div. So rather than doing mod, well, if we just do div, and let's try this. So, okay, yeah, let's say, well, 1 minus 1, right, that's 0. Yeah, well, div, I guess, well, yeah, like 1 div 3, right, that's 0, and then plus 1. So it's going to say, well, yeah, this is row 1, this is row 2, right, this is row 3. So, I mean, hopefully that makes sense, right? If it doesn't make sense, you know, just try, for example, try 8. And of course, yeah, try doing what, yeah, 8 minus 1, right, then, yeah, sort of mod it by this, div it by this, right, then plus 1. And in that case, you should get, what, row 3, column 2. Yeah, that should work. So, yeah, let's try and ask them to do that then. And, like, probably I'm going to make a variable, and we can say maybe current x position. Yeah, okay, let's say that, right, current x position. Or let's also go, well, in fact, maybe not x, let's just say current row. And yeah, let's go, what, current column. And let's also, and I suppose here we actually don't need to make the user choice, or yeah, the user cell. Yeah, I guess that can just be a local variable. And to be honest, right, the reason I'm making these global is because, well, when we're checking if there's a winner, I mean, we could just check every cell, but I think the way I'm going to do it, I'm only going to check the cells around the one that they've just entered. Because in theory, like, I mean, well, of course, you can make this like a 100 by 100 board, and to check every single cell, you know, to check if there's a winner, is kind of inefficient, right? So, yeah, I mean, well, I think obviously I'll demonstrate how to do this later. Right, but first then, well, let's try and get the user input. And we also probably want to validate this, right? Of course, this should be, well, it's got to be, what, greater than or equal to 1. And it's got to be, what, less than the board size multiplied by the board size. Because if it's 3 by 3, then of course, what, the maximum cell is going to be cell 9. So yeah, maybe let's just create a max, like, I know, max cell, right? That can be integer. And yeah, maybe let's just capitalize it, right? Keep the convention. Right, so max cell, and to be honest, I mean, you could make this as a yeah, global variable, to be honest. So yeah, let's actually just do this. Since, yeah, probably we'll need to use this somewhere else, or yeah, I mean, possibly we might need to use this somewhere else. And then of course, well, where we can assign that rate, I guess we can assign it in this reset game. We can also just assign it, well, after they've entered the board size. So let's go here, right, max cell, and that's going to be equal to, what, yeah, board size multiplied by board size, right? Or alternatively, I think, well, if you're using IG, right, you can use, yeah, this kind of power, or yeah, the exponentiation operator. I think for A level, I mean, this one's actually used for pointers as well. So for A level, I do just support the kind of double star, right, for yeah, for powers. But I think here, if we just do board size multiplied by board size, right, that's going to be fine. Right, okay, and then yeah, where were we? Right, so on this next move, and I think here, right, okay, well, let's declare, let's say, I know, current position. Right, okay, that's going to be an integer, or yeah, kind of, you know, user cell, basically. Right, and let's just have, well, again, right, I'm just going to do a repeat until loop. And I suppose, well, one thing we also want to do, we also want to ask them to repeat until it's empty. Because maybe they try to enter their piece in a cell that's already taken. So yeah, that's going to be something else we have to figure out. Right, but I think, well, first let's just keep it simple, right? Let's just check. Yeah, check it's between, well, 1 and 9 in this case. Right, so let's say, yeah, enter, I don't know, position, right, to place piece. Or we could say, for example, alright, okay, well, let's say their name. So this is going to be, what, player names. Then I think we said current player. So yeah, this was the index. So it will say, yeah, I know, like A, right, enter position to place piece. Right, and, well, let's give them the range. So, right, well, it's going to be 1, and then it's going to be, what, to the max cell. Right, and then, yeah, we can just close the bracket like that. Right, so here then, well, let's go input, and we want to go, right, current position. And then here, what this is going to be until the current, hang on, right, the current position is what, greater than or equal to 1. Yeah, and the current position, right, current position is what, less than or equal to, yeah, the max cell. Right, but again, this is not checking if the cell is already taken. So to check if it's taken, I mean, yeah, maybe like, okay, so what we can do maybe is here we can calculate, and yeah, let's calculate the row and column that this cell is going to correspond to. So to do that, what is going to be, right, current row, and we said, okay, so current row is going to be using the, okay, all right, so, right, I'm going to use IG syntax. I'll show you how to do it if you're using A-level syntax. Right, so for IG syntax, well, it's going to be a function, and let's just make sure, okay, yeah, put it on IG mode. Right, so here then we said, right, this is what the current position minus 1, right, and then that's going to be modded by what the board size, because of, well, of course, right, the board size is the number of columns, right, then if we just go plus 1. Now, let's say if you're doing this in the A-level syntax, well, the A-level syntax, I mean, it's just going to be an operator in the middle, so you're saying, well, this is the thing on the left, right, then, well, for example, right, the column is going to be mod, right, well, then we're just going to mod it by the board size. So, of course, well, this mod, I mean, this is just like an operator, right? It could be a plus, it could be a minus, yeah, just an operator. And then, of course, what you'd want the plus 1 on the outside of this. But yeah, I think I'm just going to do it, well, doing IG, since, yeah, I think there's more people doing IG, to be honest. Alright, so yeah, that should be fine, right? Then if we go and then, so here then we want to check if this cell is empty. And of course, well, the way we can check it's empty is, you know, does it equal just this black cell? So this is going to be what, grid, and this is going to be what, the current row. Right, the index will be, hang on. Okay, right, yeah, the index will be the current column. And what we want to check, okay, alright, so well, let's check, right, that's not equal to that. Yeah, okay, and then I think we can maybe just have an if statement, right, just to give them an error. So, right, I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this. Right, but of course here it's going to be not, it's going to be equal, right, it's not going to be not equal. So we say, right, okay, no, sorry, right, yeah, if it's not equal to this, and, alright, actually, okay, right, this one should be equal. So yeah, we want to check, right, okay, while this is equal, yeah, okay, right, yeah, sorry, right, okay, until, yeah, until their position, right, is equal to a black square, because of course, right, that means it's not taken. Right, but here then, right, if it's not equal to a black square, well, then we can just have an output. So, right, let's go output, and let's say, I don't know, yes, cell is already taken, let's say taken by, and then, well, here we can just output the piece that is taken by, right, so that's going to be the current row, and then the current column. Yeah, I think that should be fine. And then, right, let's say if that's successful, well, then we just want to place that piece there. And the way we can do that, I think I haven't copied it yet. So, right, let's actually create another, right, another array. And that can just represent the different player character, or yeah, you know, the kind of different player icons. Yeah, of course, well, there's another way you could do this. I mean, if you just want to have, you know, simple with 2 players, I guess you don't really need this array. But yeah, since I want up to 8 players, well, let's use an array for this. So, right, I think, well, we're going to call it player chart, or yeah, player, yeah, I guess I mean player emoji, right, player symbol. And then here, well, we want this to be 1 to 8, right, not the number of players. And the reason for that is because, well, basically in, well, because, like, okay, let's say if, for example, the first game you had, I don't know, 2 players, and then somehow you wanted to change that to have, you know, 8 players in the next game, well, yeah, I mean, okay, obviously there's not going to be a way to do that. And actually in pseudocode, like, once you actually define the size of the array, there's actually no way to change the size of the array. So in order to, you know, change the number of players, well, you'd actually have to restart the program, you know, play it again. But yeah, okay, let's just go 1 to 8 like this, and this is going to be of char. Right, yeah, then we'll just copy all of those. Okay, that should be fine, and yeah, so, right, I think, well, then, of course, we just want to check if they win. And I think first what I'm going to do is, well, I'm just going to check if the board is full. So probably the way we can do that is, well, we can say, right, when they start, of course, what, there's going to be 9 remaining pieces. and then each time they enter a valid move, well, then we can just decrement the number of remaining pieces available, or yeah, you know, decrement the number of kind of empty cells. So yeah, let's just make another variable for that. Right, this is going to be empty cells, and then I guess that can probably go here in the reset game, because of course, well, we want to set this back to 9, or set this back to, you know, the yeah, I guess what is it going to be, what board size? Right, yeah, board size multiplied by board size. So effectively, right, just the same as the max cells. Yeah, so of course, right, this is how many empty cells there are at the beginning. Right, and then let's say here then each time, well, then we can go, right, empty cells, and well, then just decrement this, right, so yeah, empty cells minus 1, yeah, just assign to itself. Right, okay, and then, yeah, let's say then what we want to do, so we want to call next move, right, until empty cells equals 0. And of course, like, ultimately we'll have to check, well, yeah, did they win, right, horizontally, vertically, diagonally. But at the moment, let's just, you know, check if it says draw at the end. So here, right, let's go repeat. Right, let's go until, and I guess first what we want to call next move. Right, okay, yeah, next move. Right, okay, yeah, I guess then we're going to call output board. And let's go right until, yeah, I guess right until empty cells equals 0. And of course, right, this is going to be if it's a draw. Then at the end we can just have an if statement, so we say, right, if empty cells does equal 0, well, then what we want to do, we can just output, yeah, game drew or something. Yeah, and a game over, yeah, it was a draw, or yeah, like no winners. And to be honest, yeah, I think that's okay. Like, here we can probably wrap this start game inside a, yeah, let's say inside a loop, you know, just to let them play again. So, right, let's go here, and again, we can just use a repeat until. Right, so let's have start game, and of course, well, yeah, this will kind of check if they won as well, you know, eventually. Yeah, or you could call it play game, right, maybe play game, right, rather than start game. Since, I mean, you know, like, this is not only going to start, right, but it's actually going to play the entire game, right, inside this loop. Right, and then, well, then let's have an until, and here we can just have, right, not output board. Let's see what, yeah, would you like to play again? And let's go, what, yeah, yes or no. Right, and then what we can do, well, let's input this, and we can probably have, yeah, I mean, let's make it a char, I guess. So we can just call it, what, like, play again choice. Right, okay, yeah, that's going to be a char. And, right, well, let's just input into that play again choice. Now, in theory, of course, well, they could enter uppercase y, right, or, you know, lowercase y. So what I'm going to do, well, let's just use, okay, right, hang on, well, let's assign it. Right, okay, so let's just convert everything to lowercase, right, using L case. Yeah, okay, right, so, well, for IG, L case is going to take either a char or a string. Now, for A level, actually, yeah, for A level, L case actually only takes a, right, only takes a character. And we should be able to see this here. Yeah, so for A level, it only takes a character. And then if you want to convert a string in A level, what it's going to be, I think, yeah, 2 lower. Right, so 2 lower is going to be for strings. Right, whereas, yeah, L case is for characters. Right, so let's go play again choice, and yeah, I'm just going to put it back on the IG syllabus, right, otherwise, yeah, otherwise this div and mod is not going to work. Right, okay, and then, well, we just want to go, what, until play again choice, well, I guess, right, until it's equal to no. Yeah, so I think that should work. Okay, so I think we've done quite a lot, right, so let's just test this, yeah, make sure we've not made any mistakes. Right, so let's go 2, let's say 3, consecutive cells to win, or maybe just, well, I mean, let's say 3, although, of course, well, currently we're not actually checking, yeah, we're not checking at the moment. Alright, so actually, wait, I realised there is one thing I haven't done, and that's not incremented the player. Yeah, so, well, let's try 2. I mean, is it actually placing anything? Right, no, it's not placing anything. Right, so why is that? Wait, here then, did we not actually assign it? Okay, alright, so yeah, I think here then we didn't actually assign the grid. Right, so let's go grid. This is going to be the current row. Right, yeah, then it's going to be the current column. And then if you think, well, we say what the current player number is 1, right, therefore we just want to assign what the player char at this current player number. So right, yeah, this is going to be right player char, then yeah, current player. So I mean, right, that should successfully, put the put the piece right in that position, and then I guess what then we just want to increment the player number. So and to be honest, right, you could do this again just using mod. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, well, current player, that's going to be, well, current player +1. But then we have to think, well, let's say if we choose 4 players, but here, of course, well, this could go to player 5. So let's just have an if statement and we say, well, if the current player is greater than the number of players, well, then we're just going to reset the current player to 1. Right, so yeah, current player is greater than number of players. Right, okay, then we, right, okay, current player, and yeah, just set that back to 1. Yeah, so I think this should work now. Right, let's try again. Right, let's go 2, yeah, let's go 3, 3. Right, let's say 1. Yeah, okay, right, so here we see that places. Right, okay, so well, now it should be player 2, so let's say, right, they go in position 2. Yeah. And then, of course, like, well, if we actually had, let's go up here, like, if we had this thing on, then, of course, this would say, like, player 1, player 2. But yeah, I've just disabled it because, well, if we have 4 players, right, it's quite a lot. Yeah, 2 players doesn't really take too much time. Right, so I'm just going to go 3, right, then let's go 4, right, 5, 6, 7, right, 8. And now if we look, okay, right, so currently we get this, right, then if we go 9, right, now it should say kind of, yeah, game over, draw. Yeah, so game over, it was a draw, right, would you like to play again? Well, let's try yes, right, see if it works. Right, so let's go, I don't know, maybe position 5 in the middle. Yeah, okay, so it's kind of successfully reset. It should be player 1, alright, this seems okay, and let's just stop it. Right, so, I mean, basically, well, this is, of course, most of the logic done, right? I mean, now we just need to check if it win, well, yeah, if someone wins. And to be honest, right, checking if they win is kind of the hardest part. I mean, I'll show you an easy way to do it. Now, yeah, let's just sort of delete all of this. Right, now, the easy way to do it, and maybe I'm just going to kind of label these cells. So, right, of course, if we're thinking rows and columns, well, this is going to be 1, 1, right, this is 1, 2, yeah, this is what, yeah, row 1, column 3, right, then, well, 2, 1, right, 2, 2, 2, 3, right, 3, 1, yeah, 3, 2, and 3, 3. Now, let's say the okay, like, yeah, if you want a super easy way to do it, well, you just have, well, it's going to be 8 different if statements, because you have, what, 1 if statement for checking this row, okay, 1 if statement for checking row 2, yeah, 1 for row 3, right, yeah, obviously 1 if statement checking, right, this column, right, this column, this column, and then what you want, another if statement for, let's say, this diagonal, and then, yeah, another if statement for this diagonal. So, I mean, well, okay, like, yeah, let's just see how you would do this. Right, so probably, yeah, where is our next move? No, or yeah, where do we check if it's over? Right, hang on, this is going to be up here. Alright, so yeah, I think it's here then. So right, it's going to be what, until empty cells equals 0, right, yeah, or until there's a winner. So maybe let's just create a local variable and we can just say, I don't know, yeah, is winner, or yeah, has winner. Right, that's going to be a boolean. And I guess what, I mean, first we're just going to have to set that to false. And then what I'm going to do, well, let's go is winner, and we'll just assign that, and well, here we can create a function, or let's call it, yeah, check winner, or yeah, check if game over. Right, so here then, well, let's go function, right, let's go check winner. Right, and then what we want to do, so I guess we just want to check what if there's 3 cells consecutively, that have the same color as this player color. So he said what the player color, of course, well, that's going to be right player char, and then the index is the current player. So here we can, I mean, yeah, we can kind of just do something like this, right, where we say if, and that's going to be what grid, right, of course, well, this is going to be 1, 1, right, so well, check, and actually what I might do, I'm just going to create a local variable, let's say, like I'm just going to call it C, right, just, yeah, something short since we're going to use this many times. Right, so C then, this is going to be the player color, so, right, yeah, player char, right, then the current player. Right, so what you want to do, well, I mean, basically you want to check that, right, is grid 1, yeah, well, okay, yeah, is this one, right, is it equal to grid, then that's going to be what, row 1, column 2, yeah, and then, well, you also want to get and, right, then you want to check what and, grid, yeah, I guess what, well, okay, so I guess you want to go 1, 2 is equal to grid 1, 3. Right, and then we just need another and that, well, I think here we just want to check that, right, are they equal, yeah, to our current color. So we can do something like this, right, C, and yeah, let's just check it against grid 1, 1. Right then, if it is, well, yeah, let's just return winner, or, well, yeah, return true. Right then, let's have an end if, and, well, let's go return false. Now, of course, you're like, if you were doing this for all of them, well, of course, I mean, because, well, here we're just checking the first row, but of course, you would then want to copy this, right? So you could do something like this, right? Maybe put that in brackets. Right, then you'd have an or, and then, yeah, for example, well, you just want to copy all of this. So yeah, like copy it down here. Right, and of course, well, then you check it, well, change it to sort of what row, yeah, row 2, column 1, right, row 2, column 2, yeah, of course, right, etc. But I mean, this one's obviously quite tedious, and the other problem is that, well, this is only going to work, you know, for a 3x3 board. You then, of course, need another load of if statements if you're doing, you know, a 5x5 board. And to be honest, like if you start doing, you know, 10x10 board, I mean, there's just going to be so many if statements, right? It's going to be, yeah, kind of unmanageable, to be honest. So like that is one way you can do it, and like, yeah, I guess, well, maybe let's just test that quickly. Right, and then so I think here then on this until, right, or we go, yeah, or, well, or is winner, right, is equal to true. Yeah, and then I suppose, right, we can have an if statement. So, right, let's say if, yeah, okay, I think the, yeah, kind of also suggestion's a bit broken. Right, so what if is winner is equal to true. Right, then we can just have a message. Right, let's go end if. Right, so I think here we can just say what, like the player name. So that's going to be, right, yeah, player names. Right, this is the current player. Or we can just say, yeah, congratulations. Alright, so yeah, congratulations, player name. Let's say what you won. Yeah, I think that's fine. Right, and then I suppose here we can just have this in the else. Right, so yeah, else if the empty cells is 0. Right, and that should be fine. And to be honest, like technically we actually don't need the if here, because, well, you think, right, there's only 2 conditions where the loop can end. Right, well, either they won, in which case, of course, it's going to be the if. Yeah, well, or, you know, it's just a draw, right? There's no empty cells. And of course, well, in that case, it's just going to go to this else anyway. So yeah, I suppose, yeah, we can just delete that, to be honest. Right, well, okay, yeah, let's just test that, right, see if it works. Right, unexpected token declare. So, right, okay, yeah, let's go what returns Boolean. And yeah, let's just sort of slide that across. Right, so let's go 2 players, right, board size can be 3, right, well, okay, yeah, let's say 3, since, you know, here we've made that using 3 cells. Right, position to place piece, well, let's go 1, right, and then here, well, let's say, right, player 2 can go in position 4, right, then here we want to go in position 2, right, player 2 can go in position 5, so you see, right, currently, and then if we say position 3, right, hopefully it should say that we won. No, right, so why does it not say that? Right, I mean, let's just try 4. Okay, I mean, yeah, so I thought this would work. Maybe let's just try output. So, right, if we just output C, and yeah, let's also try outputting some of these. Alright, so yeah, 1, 2, and then, right, 1, 3. Yeah, I think that should be okay. Right, so let's try again. Alright, so, right, I mean, so, like, okay, yeah. Right, here it's saying this. Okay, so, right, this is then getting the wrong player. Because, I mean, this is player 2, right, that's not player 1. So have we incremented that number of player before? Yeah, okay, so I think here, right, in this next move, we increment the player. So what I'm going to do then, I'm just going to copy this incrementing the player after. I mean, it's probably not the best way of doing it. I mean, or we could... Yeah, okay, so, right, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this next move a function, and then what it's going to do is going to return the result of next winner, and then I can keep, yeah, did I delete that? Okay, yeah, that right, then I can keep this one inside this next move. Right, so yeah, let's just try and sort of refactor some of this. And again, of course, well, this is why you can see, right, that, yeah, this is too difficult, you know, for the exam, obviously. Right, so next move, let's go what returns Boolean. Right, then what we do, well, let's, yeah, go is winner, right, that can be equal to, well, I guess, yeah, assign it with a value next move. Right, and then, yeah, let's go here then, so what we just want to return, and this is going to be, right, check winner. So, of course, what if check winner returns true, right, then what next move is going to return true. And, yeah, let's just make that end function. Right, and then, yeah, hopefully this will work. Right, let's just drag this across, right, try again. Right, so 2, yeah, board size 3, right, 3, right, let's go 1. Okay, no, right, so I've still done that in the wrong position. Right, that needs to go... Right, okay, so I guess really we just want to assign this before. Hang on, right, let's go... Yeah, all right, maybe let's declare another variable inside here. Well, let's call this isWinner again. Right, that can be Boolean. Because what we want to do as well, we want to call this check winner, you know, before we increment this current player. Right, and then, yeah, so right, then we increment the current player, right, then we can just go return, and, well, let's return isWinner. Right, I mean, well, third time lucky, right, let's see if this works. Okay, yeah, so I think that's fine, because, of course, well, this is in the current piece. Right, and then, yeah, these three are the actual, you know, well, column 1, column 2, column 3. Right, let's go 4, let's say 2, right, let's say 5. And now we should see, yeah, so now then if we go 3 here, and hopefully, yeah, so it says, right, congratulations, you won, right, would you like to play again? And let's just go no, or, well, let's try yes. And then I guess, yeah, okay, that's kind of successfully working. Alright, so I mean, as you can see, like, hopefully people can figure out how they would extend this, you know, in order to get, well, of course, yeah, row, sort of, well, checking for row 2, row 3, right, also how they would check for, well, column, right, 1, 2, and 3, right, and also both diagonals. But as we can see, this is actually not the most efficient way, and it's also not going to work, you know, if we can allow them to, yeah, specify the board size. So what I'm going to do, and let's just sort of make this bigger, right, so let's have like a 5 by 5. So right, I guess for that we're going to need, what, 4 lines. Yeah, okay. And right, let's just extend these down a bit. Now, let's say, for example, the player, I don't know, okay, maybe they put their piece here. Well, if we think, right, in order to check if they win, right, if the consecutive to win is 3, so let's just write that. Well, then what we need to do is, well, we need to potentially go 2 to the left. Because, you know, okay, maybe here they have, right, x, and, yeah, obviously, like an x there. Now, of course, like, in this case, we can't do that because, you know, this is off the board. So we also want to bound it. And, well, of course, we want to say, well, the minimum, right, the column and row, okay, the minimum is going to be 1. What the maximum, well, is going to be what the board size, which in this case is 5. And then, okay, well, let's say if we're checking the right. Well, if we're checking right, okay, then we're also going to check what from this current position. And then it's going to be what the... yeah, I guess kind of the board size, right, -1, and then plus to this. So, for example, here, right, well, of course, it's going to be, right, this one and this one. So what we can think, well, let's say right here, this is our column, and the column is going to be 1. Well, if the board size is going to be 3, right, then the range is going to be, well, I mean, okay, basically it's what, like, yeah, the board size -1. Okay, sorry, right, okay, so look, right, it's going to be this, so it's going to be the column, so, okay, right, the column is 1, right, well, minus the board size -1, right, okay, that's going to be the minimum index. Now, obviously, in this case, what that's going to be, well, this is going to be, what, 0, this is going to be -1, yeah, if we say this is 1. So, of course, right, this would be invalid because, well, we want to keep it in this range. Right, and then we say what the maximum, well, the maximum is going to be what the column, and, well, then it's just going to be plus this, right, so plus the board size -1. Because, of course, in this case, right, well, if, okay, sorry, not the board size, right, okay, the consecutive to win, right, because if the consecutive to win is 3, then of course what that means, right, we can get the current position, and then of course, yeah, like, well, let's say the next two, right, or yeah, of course, well, yeah, the current position, and then obviously the previous two. And like that's going to be quite efficient because, well, let's say if we have like a 100 by 100 board, then effectively like all we're doing is what we're just kind of checking like in this range. Yeah, even though, you know, the entire board might be this big, right, of course, yeah, we're only actually checking this kind of subsection of the board. And to be honest, you know, just for simple noughts and crosses, this is actually not really required. But let's imagine if you were making some, you know, actual real, like, sort of, yeah, 30 FPS game. I mean, you wouldn't want to be like calculating every single position on the grid, you know, like 30 times per second. You know, well, of course, if you, I don't know, if you have like a 10,000 by 10,000 game or something, yeah, you would want to be kind of, yeah, more intelligent, right, with kind of, yeah, what cells you're checking. Right, so let's try and do this, and this is actually going to be quite tricky. So I think what we can do, right, that's going to be, yeah, in this check winner. And to be honest, I'm probably just going to delete all of this, or yeah, delete most of that. And what I might do is I'm probably going to create separate functions for, right, horizontal, vertical, and diagonal. Right, let's try and create this check row function then. So yeah, let's go function check row. Right, I think here we don't need any parameters, but well, let's go returns boolean. Right, yeah, let's go end function like this. And then the way this is going to work is, well, okay, well, let's just draw the 3x3 grid again. Now here then, okay, let's say the player places their position there, or yeah, places their piece, you know, in this position. Then what we're going to do, okay, we're only going to check this row. Okay, so what, this is row 2 basically, because, well, you know, obviously like row 1 and row 3, well, they would have been checked, you know, when the player placed their position, or yeah, when they placed their piece, you know, in those positions before. Right, so yeah, okay, we're only checking the current row. And then what we say is what we want to check, well, basically what from the current P, and well, let's say if the consecutive to win is 3, right, therefore we want to check kind of what from the current column, right, minus 2. So if we go, well, I see, okay, right, the current column is 1, right, therefore if we go minus 2, right, that's going to be what, to minus 1. But of course, since minus 1 is off the board, right, then we're just going to ignore that. And then of course what we also want to go plus 2, so what plus 2 is going to be, what, 3. So yeah, in this case, of course, well, we're just checking, you know, this here. Now, of course, I don't know, like, let's say if we had 4, right, if we had, yeah, 4 columns, right, then, of course, well, we would want to be checking these 4, because, of course, yeah, you could get a consecutive of 3, right, in any of those 4. But that's why we're going to need a function just to limit, yeah, I guess, well, just to ensure it's still on the board as well. So what we can say, yeah, I think it's this one, right? Right, so let's go function, and let's say, I don't know, maybe, yeah, ensure piece, right, on board. Yeah, and then, right, so this is going to take a, well, either a row or column, so let's call it n, right, just a number, right, an integer. Right, then it's just going to return an integer that's on the board. So, for example, right, if they are, let's say the parameter is, you know, minus 1, well, then it's just going to return 1, okay, since 1 is the smallest valid position. Likewise, if we have a board size of 3, but, you know, they try to get from row 4, well, then it's just going to return the board size of 3, right, since, well, yeah, I mean, since otherwise, you know, it's off the board. Right, so I think here, let's just check that then. Basically, yeah, just simple if statements. Right, so what if n is less than 1, well, then what we want to do, we just want to return 1. Right, let's have an else, yeah, have an end if. Right, so here we want to check if it's too big, so what that's going to be if n is greater than the board size, well, then, okay, right, then we just want to return the board size, right, so yeah, just the maximum valid position. And then I guess what else, right, so this will be if it's valid. So here we're just going to go return, and then, well, here we can just return n, right, since, yeah, of course this n was valid in the first place. Right, so let's think what we need for check row then. Oh no, I guess we're going to need what the starting column and then the ending column. So yeah, let's go, yeah, start column, and right, maybe let's capitalize that again, just keep it to the convention. Right, let's go, yeah, end column. And I guess what we can have, okay, I mean, well, let's not use current column since, yeah, that's the name of our global variable. Let's call it, I don't know, column index. Right, okay, they're all going to be integers. Right, now to get the start column, well, let's just assign this, and well, first we're going to call this ensure piece on board, and then we said, well, this is going to be the column, right, minus the board size minus 1. So yeah, the current column, right, minus board size, right, minus 1. Yeah, that should be fine. And then I'm just going to copy that because our end column is going to be, you know, quite similar. But then this time what it's going to be plus the board size minus 1. Yeah, that should be fine, right? Then I think, well, let's also have another variable, and this will be the, I mean, let's like, yeah, num consecutive. Because for example, okay, right, let's say we're here, and, right, hang on. Right, now let's say, I don't know, maybe this one is an X, right, this one is a, you know, O, right, that's an X. Now, if we're saying, well, let's say they need 3 to win, right, of course, right, we're going to start on this one, so here we see there's an X, right, so yeah, we set the num consecutive to 1. Right here then we see what there's another X, so in this case, well, since these are the same, right, we set it to 2. But then since we see an O, well, of course, right, this is different, right, therefore this becomes 0. And then right here, well, of course, right, yeah, okay, I guess it's actually not going to become 0. I mean, it can actually become 1, really. Yeah, well, yeah, okay, I guess we can set it to 0, right, since we can check, right, if it's equal to our piece. And then, yeah, here, if it's equal to our piece, well, then, we're just going to go plus 1. And, of course, right, for them to win, well, this, you know, consecutive score is going to have to equal 3, right? Whereas, of course, yeah, if this one was 3 here, well, it's going to go up, yeah, sort of plus 1, you know, plus 1, and then, yeah, plus 1, right, it's going to reach 3 here. So, yeah, let's see if we can code this. So I think, I mean, if we actually start, I mean, yeah, I guess what the non-consecutive, right, that can be 0. Right, then we just want to loop. So we're going to say what from the column index, and right, the column index, well, that's going to start at the start column. Right, then we're just going to go what to the end column. And let's have an if statement. So we say, and yeah, maybe we can also have something kind of like for our piece, or yeah, I suppose, well, we don't really need it actually. So we want to go, right, this is the player character. So if we get our piece, right, our piece, right, that's the current character, then it's at the right, current player. So we check, right, if this is equal, I guess, to what the piece in this position. So this position, what is going to be the grid, right, is the current row. Right, then it's going to be, well, this column index that we're looping through. So if it is, well, then we want to go what non-consecutive, and well, just increment this. Right, and then so here we can check, right, if this is equal to the consecutive to win. Right, so if it's equal to that, well, then we can just return true. Right, yeah, let's have an end if. Now, I guess, right, if they're not equal, well, this is where we want to reset the number of consecutive to be 0. Yeah, so let's go non-consecutive, right, that's 0. Let's have the end if, and then I think, yeah, I think that should be okay, actually. Yeah, so, right, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to test that, and I suppose, well, here we return true. And of course, like if we loop through the whole thing, and well, yeah, if we loop through the whole thing, you know, without returning true, then of course, well, that means we've not actually found a valid, yeah, we've not found like a, you know, valid combination, right? Therefore, we can just return false, right, since they've not won. So, right, let's say check winner, and like rather than just returning false, well, let's return check row. And eventually, what I'm going to do is it's going to be, well, check row, right, yeah, or, you know, check column, right, or check diagonal. But I mean, currently, let's just check the row and yeah, see if this works. And then I think here we actually don't need this now. Then yeah, let's just get rid of that. Okay, so right, let's see if this works. Right, let's go 2 players. Let's say 3. I mean, let's say right 3 cells to win. Right, so if we want to check row, I think I'm going to go in. Let's say row 2. All right, so if we go 4, right, let's say this can be 1. All right, then let's go maybe 6. So of course this should be on, yeah, these you know, sides here. Right, let's say 2, and then right here if I go 5, now hopefully it should think that I won. Yeah, okay, so that seems to work. Yeah, congratulations, you won. Right, would you like to play again? Right, let's try no, but let's now try if we just have yeah, 2 consecutive cells to win. So right, board size, well, let's go 3. Right, let's say 2, and well, let's just, I don't know, let's try for example 3. Right, let's try, yeah, 4, and then in this try, well, okay, let's try 2, and then yeah, would you like to play again, because well, now we've got those 2. Right, so I think that's working. Now, actually, for columns, it's actually going to be quite simple, or well, I mean, not simple, but yeah, it's going to be quite similar. So, right, let's just copy this, and let's change it to check, right, check column. And then I guess, well, rather than go and start column, right, let's go start row, and yeah, okay, right, let's go, right, end row. I guess, well, all right, let's change that to row index. Like, honestly, you can probably, yeah, I think rather than doing this, right, let's try and do a replace in selection. Right, so, and right, let's also make that check row. Right, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to select this. Then if I go Control F, right, then I think if we choose this one, this should mean in selection. Right, then if I click this one, it's going to be find and replace. So, right, let's go column. Yeah, that's going to find all of those. Right, then if we just replace that with row, and then, yeah, replace all of those. And again, make sure to do that in selection, right, because otherwise it's going to replace everything in the whole file. Right, so, yeah, like, where did that go? Right here. Right, so I think, yeah, this seems okay, right? The start row, right, that's the current row minus the board size. Yeah, oh, wait, hang on, right, so wait, yeah, this should be check column. Yeah, okay, right, yeah, okay, so this one should be check column. Right, then end row. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I think that should work. Let's just try again. So this time then, well, let's try the verticals. Right, so, all right, 2 players, right, 3, 3. Right, position, let's just go column 1, right, so that's going to be 1. Or let's say 2, and then what, this one's going to be, right, position 4. Right, let's go 3, and like I think now then if we go 7, so 7 should go in this winning position. Okay, right, so that didn't work. Alright, so yeah, I realised the reason that didn't work. That's because this one here, right, this should be the row index. Right, and then this one here should be the current column. Yeah, because of course, well, this current column is staying the same, right? That's where they've placed the position. Then of course, well, this is checking what, like row 1, row 2, row 3. Yeah, but again, right, of the same column. So right, let's try that again, and I think now it should work. Right, let's go 1. Oh wait, hang on. Yeah, I think I've done the wrong piece there. Right, okay, let's go 1. Right, that can be 2. Let's go 4. Right, that can be 5. And then if we go 7, no, still didn't work. Okay, so right, why is that not working? Right, let's read it again. So yeah, I mean row. Okay, all right, that's a really stupid mistake. It's because here, right, I've not done the or check column. Right, yeah, now, right, again, you know, third time lucky. Right, okay, board size. Right, and then, well, 1. Right, okay, this can be 4. Right, let's go 2, and then let's go 7. And yeah, okay, right, so this time it works. And if we just check that, right, yeah, we can see here, right, that works. Right, so I mean, hopefully row and column, you know, well, yeah, after the kind of simple mistakes, right, it's actually, well, hopefully not that difficult. And the thing is, you know, this will also work on like a 10 by 10 grid, right? That's going to be the advantage of this. It's going to be flexible. Now, if we think about the diagonals, right, the diagonals are going to be more difficult. Now, let's think what's going to happen. In fact, do I have? Yeah, okay, I've got a lot of kind of graffiti on this basically. Yeah, let's try and just erase some of this. Right, yeah, just to, you know, clean it up. Alright, yeah, I think that's okay, because I'm really only focusing on this one that has the yeah, row and column numbers. Right, let's try and use a different colour. Now, okay, let's say then if we're looking at this diagonal, so obviously, yeah, this one, and this one. Now, if we see what happens, well, what both the row number and column number, okay, both of them increase by 1. Likewise, you can also see that here, for example, right, yeah, the row goes from, what, 1 to 2. Right, likewise, the column goes from 2 to 3. So this one, we just want to plus 1 to both of them. Now, if we look at this diagonal, so here then we say what the row number is actually going to decrease, because it's going, what, from 3, right, then to 2, then to 1, whereas what the column number is actually going to increase. So yeah, this one's actually kind of more tricky, and I think here we actually have to do it in 2 separate things. So yeah, first let's actually calculate the kind of top right. Yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, top left to bottom right. Yeah, so right, let's try and do that. And right, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go right or check diagonal, right, just so I don't forget it. Right, and then I think here maybe I'll just rewrite this from scratch, because this one's going to be a little bit different. And again, well, let's go right, returns boolean. Right, end function. Now, right, let's think here then what we need. Well, we're going to need to change both the row and the column. Yeah, so I think, right, maybe let's go declare and let's go... Okay, so like we would probably want some sort of offset where we have what the current column... Yeah, okay, so let's say... Yeah, all right, so I think what we can have the start column and the start row. Well, I mean that's just, yeah, the current row, the current column, right, where they place their piece. And then we would just want to go, right, minus some offset, right, and then, yeah, I guess until some offset. So yeah, let's just say that, right, offset, right, that can be an integer, and I guess we can just go, yeah, like, I don't know, like max offset. Right, now in this case, well, the offset we said, well, this is going to be the board's, okay, no, right, the consecutive to win -1. Right, yeah, so consecutive to win -1, and then I guess this wants to be negative, right? So if we make this negative, right, let's just go negative like this, because of course, like, let's say, well, if we want 3 to win, well, then we have to go 2 to the left in order to, yeah, start checking. Right, then, well, then if we do the max offset, that's just going to be the same, right? But it's going to be positive, so consec to win, right, and then just -1. Right, and then, well, let's just try looping. So yeah, I guess we're gonna need let's just call it current offset, or yeah, just the index. Right, so this current offset, okay, well, this can start at the, okay, I mean, all right, so yeah, let's call this, I guess, min offset. Right, okay, so look, this is going to start at the min offset, right, then we go 2, and this will be to the max offset. Right, I'm just going to have the next, so well, then we want to go, well, next, and then, yeah, current offset. Then to get the current position, well, and probably here we will actually want to check whether it's still kind of on the board. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a good way to do this, because, like, in this case we actually don't really want to call this, because okay, let's say you might have a situation where I don't know, okay, let's say you have a position like this, you have like a 3x3 board, and let's say we kind of generate a cell. Okay, so right, so let's say they place their position here, and we want to go sort of -1. Well, -1 is going to be well, that in this case, well, that's going to be row 0, and then, well, column 1. Now in this case, well, row 0 is going to be invalid, right? Therefore, what's actually going to happen is, well, this is then going to get kind of limited to 1, or yeah, kind of bounded to 1. So in that case, what it's actually going to do, well, it's actually going to go to 1, 1. So of course, it's going to check this cell, right? And then I don't know, like the next one is probably going to check this, you know, this cell, right? Then it's going to check this cell. So yeah, we don't really want to use this bounding function. I think here maybe let's just have some like huge if statement, right? Just checking the different, yeah, just checking it's on the board. Right, so yeah, where is this? Right here. Yeah, maybe we also want like a, right, I think I'm just going to go row and, yeah, let's say column, because, yeah, otherwise we're going to need to, like, you know, use the current row column, current column, you know, minus, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of stuff. So, right, let's have these local variables then, and this is the row we calculate. Now, I guess this row, well, it's going to be the current, okay, the current row. So yeah, that's where the player placed their piece. And then what, plus the offset. Yeah, okay, well, hang on, right, plus the current offset. And of course, what this current offset is going to start from a negative number. So yeah, like, all right, maybe this is, you know, -2 at the start. Right, then the column, well, that's going to be the, what, current column, right, plus the current offset. Right, and then we just want to check, so what the row should be, what, greater than or equal to 1, yeah, and less than or equal to the board size. And to be honest here, right, I mean, we're also going to need the same where we have what the sort of current consecutive, or yeah, let's say like num consecutive. And yeah, let's just initialize that to 0 again. Right, so here then, what the row should be, what, greater than or equal to 1. Yeah, and also our row should be less than or equal to the board size. Right, and then right, then the column again, well, greater than or equal to 1. Right, yeah, and column is what, less than or equal to the board size. Right, that's fine. And then, to be honest, like, if it's not, so let's have an else. Well, you know, of course, if it's off the board, well, then we can just set the number of consecutive to 0, since of course that's not a valid piece, right? Therefore, yeah, of course it's not consecutive. Right, let's think in here then. So here we want similar to what we did here. So I think actually here we can actually just copy this, to be honest, because we're just checking what if the current piece is equal to the player piece, right? Yeah, then just increment the number of consecutive. Right, so let's copy that. Yeah, just fix the indentation, right? Then this current player is fine. Right, the row index. So this is just going to be row, right? Yeah, this local variable. Right, this one here is going to be the column, right? Since we've calculated those. Yeah, I think that's okay. And then, yeah, like what's happened? Okay, right. So I think, hang on. Right, okay, yeah, I think right that fixes our indentation. Right, okay, so I think this should hopefully work for, again, the sort of top left to bottom right diagonals. Yeah, and right, also let's make sure just to return false here at the end, right, of course, if they don't match. Yeah, and I'm calling this already. Okay, so let's try this then. Unexpected token if. Right, okay, so yeah, let's make sure to, hang on. Right, let's make sure just to have the then. Right, let's move that across. Right, okay, so again, well, let's go 2 players, right, 3, 3. Right, well, here I want to go, what, 1, 4, 9. Right, that's going to be those diagonal cells. Right, then 4, let's go 5. And yeah, now hopefully if I go here, right, well, let's see. No, okay. All right, so yeah, okay, right, yeah, sorry, it should be 1, 5, 9, all right, not 1, 4, 9. Yeah, so many mistakes, you know, this is the problem with making a live video. Right, okay, so 1, all right, let's go 2, right, this one is going to be 5, let's say 3, and then let's say 9. All right, yeah, would you like to play again? And yeah, okay, so congratulations, you won. All right, so this seems okay, right, I'm just going to stop that. Now, let's copy and paste this quickly because it's actually going to be a lot of the same thing. But I guess what if we go back to this one? So, yeah, no, wait, I think, no. All right, so yeah, I think it was this one here that I did it then. So we say, right, on this one, if we're checking, right, if we're checking what from the bottom left to top right, we say that the row is going to decrement, okay, but the column is going to increment. Right, so let's just copy this. Right, and I guess we also just want to set the num consecutive back to 0, because otherwise maybe you still have, you know, 1 consecutive from this one, right, and of course, well, that's going to be in, well, I mean, yeah, possibly, you know, it's going to say that you won, right, even if you only have 2 consecutive in this, yeah, since you still had, you know, 1 consecutive, right, from this previous one. Right, so the min offset, max offset, I mean, I think that should be okay. Yeah, so the min and max offset is still fine. Right, I mean, the current offset, yeah, that's fine. Right, so the row, I mean, I think the row, if we just make that minus. Okay, so my computer just shut down then for some reason, but I think this should work. So if here we make this a minus, right, and then the current column, yeah, just plus. Whereas if we look at the first one, we're here, you know, they're both incrementing, right, or they're both getting bigger. Although I think there is actually an error with this. Now, actually, this code is valid, but it's actually the site that is not handling this correctly. So what the site is doing is kind of treating it as this. So basically it's doing this minus, you know, consec cells to win first, right? Then it's doing the -1. Whereas of course what it should be doing is it should be doing everything inside, you know, these brackets first. All right, yeah, then this, you know, unary operator, right? The negative symbol. Now to be honest, I mean the code will actually still work, right? It's just going to do like an extra, well, I think an extra 2 comparisons unnecessarily. Now, if you want to get it working, of course, well, equivalently, we can also just take this number, multiply it by -1, and yeah, this is going to work. Now, of course, yeah, this small bug I will also, you know, fix on the site as well. Right, so if we run this, and let's just make this bigger. Yeah, let's check it's working. Right, so enter number of players. Well, let's say, yeah, let's say 2. Right, board size 3, consecutive cells. Right, and well, here I've just re-enabled the names. Right, just uncommented those. Yeah, if you look up here. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, so here I've just uncommented this. Right, so yeah, I think A and B is fine. And then, so the positions, what it's going to be 7, 5, and 9. Right, so let's go A, right, they go position 7, right, maybe they go position 1. Right, let's go 5, let's say 2, and then yeah, okay, hang on, again, yeah, not 7, 5, and 9, right, 7, 5, and 3. And then yeah, so right here is detect, right, congratulations. I mean, wait, B1. Right, okay, so yeah, this is something that's wrong then, because right, this should be A that's 1, and that's gonna be what, because we increment the yeah, I guess, I mean, it's the same bug we have before where we increment the name kind of before we output the winner. Right, I mean, so that, yeah, that's here then, I guess. I mean, to be honest, like, you could just have something called player name, and you have another variable called player name. Like, or we could have it where, let's say here, we increment the player number in here. Yeah, or we could, okay, hang on. Right, okay, let's say if we start the player number at 0, and then, yeah, we can kind of pre-increment it in here, that should work. Alright, so yeah, this is a little bit annoying actually. I didn't realise there was this little bug. And yeah, there's kind of so much code, it's actually, yeah, difficult to scroll through it now. Right, so let's have this then at the start. And yeah, when we go reset game, I think, yeah, if we just go 0, right, hopefully this will work. Right, let's try this again. Right, so 2 players, right, board size 3, consecutive cells 3, right, player 1, well, let's go A, right, let's go B, right, let's go 7, right, let's say 5, yeah, so now it's saying B, and then, right, this is going to be, yeah, let's go 2, right, and then here, what if we go 3, yeah, would you like to play again, and yeah, here it says, right, congratulations A, and alright, let's go no. So guys, I mean, I think this is everything. Like, if we just want to test it one more time, okay, let's try, for example, trying a bigger board. Well, let's have 4 players this time. Right, enter board size, well, let's go 10. And the only reason I'm saying 10, well, I mean, yeah, 1 is the biggest, I mean, let's just test it. But also because if we do like a 7x7 board, that's going to be really difficult to work out, you know, what, like, let's say what cell that, you know, 35 corresponds to, for example, or right, okay, so consecutive cells to win. I mean, well, let's just say 3, although, of course, yeah, you can change this. Right, so name for player 1, right, A, B, C, D. Right, and then here, then, let's say, I don't know, maybe 34. Then if we have a look at this, right, so 34, well, that's going to be, yeah, like row 4, which is correct. Since, of course, well, this one is going to be position 30. Right, therefore, yeah, position, what, 31, 32, 33, 34. Right, and then B, well, let's say, I don't know, maybe they can go like 75. And let's check. Yeah, so I think, I mean, that seems correct. And I don't know, maybe like 23, let's say 91. Right, then A, so if they've gone, well, let's say they can go, what, was it, wait, 30, yeah, okay, all right, let's say they can go, what, 33? I don't know, let's try 92. Right, okay, let's actually try one that they've already entered. So I think, wait, did we say 92? Right, let's try 92 again. Yeah, so it's saying C, enter again. And if we look here, yes, cell is already taken by this. So let's say, right, 93, let's say 94. And then A, right, let's go in this one. So this is going to be 35, and hopefully it should say winner. Yeah, would you like to play again? And yeah, congratulations, A1. All right, so let's stop there. All right, guys, so, I mean, well, actually, yeah, obviously, again, you know, this is way more complex than they'd have to do in the exam. Well, that's, yeah, sort of 230 lines. But, I mean, hopefully this is useful. And, of course, well, there's a lot of practice, you know, 2D arrays, right, input, output, yeah, validation, yeah, div, mod, right, it kind of covers everything. Well, of course, I mean, well, no kind of bubble sort. Although we do kind of have a linear search in some ways. Yeah, we're kind of like looping through, right, checking if it's equal. Yeah, checking if it's equal, you know, to certain values. All right, anyway, well, hopefully that's useful. And if you've got any questions, just ask in the comments. And yeah, see you again in the next video.